Welcome, friends. It's a fantastic night for gaming. This is 20 Strong Tanglewoods, the gold deck. The first thing we do is we have to choose a hero. I've gone ahead and picked the Mischievous Fairy. You'll notice that she is a universal hero, which can be used across all the deck lines in the 20 Strong universe. Each time you roll a critical on a yellow, you may +1 to any stat. And when your stats total 9 or more, you may flip at the start of any turn. It's important to note that in a standard character, flipping means to flip to the other side. But when you use a universal hero, flipping makes you switch to the Brothers Grimm character card. So these stats relate to the current stats your character has, and it has its own ability with its own flip effect. The Mischievous Fairy will have 1 health, 3 strategy, and 1 recover. I set my gold to 20 minus the combined value of my stats. So that's 5, so 20 minus 5, I start with 15 gold. We shuffle the item deck. Items are facing the brown side up, then cover it with the merchant card. We also shuffled the forest deck, which is comprised of minions and fable cards, making sure that the daytime side of the cards are face up. Likewise, you'll shuffle the map cards, making sure that the daytime side is face up. And you'll set aside the 3 bear cards for now. And lastly, you need to select a difficulty. 5 is standard, but I'm going to up the ante, and I'm going to do level 7, so -1 to any stat. Obviously, that will be my strategy die, and now we are ready to begin. In the activation step, you perform a map phase. You will draw a total of map cards equal to your strategy. For me, that would be 2. Map cards will have a daytime and a nighttime. They will have a directions, a map effect, and sometimes a merchant icon, indicating you can visit the merchant at the end of the round. The gold deck introduces a new icon. This is the ambush icon. As soon as that revealed on any card, you must resolve the effect immediately, even if this isn't the card that you choose to place. This tells me to flip all other daytime map cards drawn with this card to nighttime. So now I have a choice between these two on which map to place. I'm going to select this one, and I discard the other one. The next part of the activation step is the forest phase. You will draw cards one at a time from the bottom up to your strategy number. Apply this card to an enemy in your tableau with a bribery of 1 or higher. If there is no applicable enemy, ignore this effect. What I'm aiming for is to match the symbols on the map card with symbols on the forest card. This one doesn't have anything, so I'm going to draw another one. And I have a forest dragon. So out of those 2, I will choose this one, and it will be placed in the active area. And it satisfies the south direction. I'll discard the one I didn't choose and repeat until the map condition is satisfied. Search for Goldilocks. When added to your tableau, you may flip any number of enemies in your tableau from daytime to nighttime. For each enemy flipped, gain 1 health. It satisfies my map condition, and we'll flip this, and I will gain a much needed health. This is the first card. This is the second one. Neither of them fulfills the map, but I will go ahead and play it. Here is the first card. Here is the second card, which does satisfy the condition. Exhaust 1 purple and blue dice. So let's play it there. Just 1 more south. And we draw Funnel Web, which is a wild icon, which can act as any direction. And we have therefore completed the forest phase. Now with the forest phase complete, we move on to the bribery phase. Minions will have a bribery cost. That's how much it'll cost you in order to remove it from the tableau. Otherwise, you will have to encounter everything that's there and suffer the consequences. I'm going to have to bribe the Briarn. 15 goes down to 10. When bribed, they flip to their nighttime side. During the engagement step, I will commit dice first, then roll them, then apply them. 2 for critical, 1, 3 is enough to defeat him. The Mischievous Fairy gives me a +1 to any stat when you roll a critical on yellow. I'm going to select the recover die. Now, before we resolve the engagement step, I am going to perform another strategy phase. I have a strategy of 2, so I can do 1 more commit, roll, and apply. I use the dice that I had before and committed additional, but then I re-roll. I will apply here. 2, 4, 5, that's enough to defeat him, but I must pay 1 gold each time you apply a die, so that's 3. Brings me down to 7, and I rolled another critical on yellow, so I will up my recover. It's the resolve phase. First, we suffer damage. There is no damage caused because they are all defeated. Then, after effects. This after effect says to improve your recover or strategy by 1. You know I'm going for that recovery. Exhaust the dice. Then I recover dice equal to my recover stat, which is 4. Then my rewards, I will get 9 gold from the dragon and 3 from the funnel web. 12 gold takes me to 19. And the last part of the engagement step is flip enemies and fables and map. For the map phase, I have these 2 cards. I'm going to play this one because it has the merchant icon, and one of the merchant actions is to add one of the bears or bait them and they will get inserted into the forest deck. That is the way to win the game. The forest phase, I drew Bircham, and the ambush is to add him to the tableau. I have Bonfire. This satisfies the east condition. I don't like it, but I will choose this one. The Voyage Gnome, that satisfies the south condition and the cost of readiness. And that's the last one. So I'm going to commit everything. So 3 will defeat him, and 2 will defeat him. Every time you roll a critical on yellow, +1 stat. I'll make this 5. No damage is suffered. You may -1 any stat to recover all exhausted dice. I didn't plan that well. Then I exhaust. I'll reduce my strategy to 1, then recover 5. Flip, flip. During the merchant step, you will reveal the bottom 3 cards. You can purchase any items for their gold amount. You may also perform any of these other actions. For instance, I will pay 5 to shuffle in 1 bear into the forest deck. That comes down to 14, and I have shuffled Papa Bear into the deck. I will do Forest Blessing, +1 to my strategy stat, which is currently at 1, so the cost is 3 times that. So 3, down to 11. And then I'm going to mend 5 times to recover 1 die. That takes me all the way down to 1. 5 dice. Then discard the items. It's the start of a new turn, and her ability allows her to flip over since her stats equal 9 or higher. As a universal hero, she instead replaces with Brothers Grimm. Each time you activate a fable from the forest card deck, you may gain 2 gold. Here are my 2 map cards. 3 easts might be challenging. These are the 2 items I drew. As soon as I place that, I will gain 2 gold. Elder Trolls. Ambush. I'm going to discard the current map and replace it with the top map card. I have terrible choices here. Here are my next offerings, and another 2 gold. I drew these 2, finally got a north, and 2 more gold. For each direction still needed, which is 2 norths, either pay 3 gold or exhaust 1 ready die. Then consider your map complete and immediately begin an engagement. I will exhaust 2 yellows. I'm going to commit 5 dice for now. I'll apply it to Leprechaun Man to defeat it, and Wensley's Dale allows me to roll 2 of my exhausted dice. Immediately roll and optionally apply. That is the 2 yellows. Wow, that is exactly what I needed. 3 hits. I will not suffer any damage. The first after effect is to +1 to any stat. I'll improve my health, exhaust the dice, then I recover 5. I gain 6 gold up to 13, and gain a random item. And I've got the Root Bomb. At the start of each engagement, you may roll 1 ready yellow without exhausting it. If the result is a critical, immediately defeat 1 non-boss enemy. And Meat Shield says at the start or end of the engagement, you may pay 8 gold to gain an unused Tanglewoods gold hero and set it aside on the side of your choice. You may use its ability in addition to your own. This hero will never flip. Anytime an enemy would cause you to suffer damage, you may remove this hero from the game to avoid that damage. I will pay the 8 to go down to 5, and I will pair up with the Beast. Wild at Heart. For red dice that are rolled, deal damage equal to your lowest stat. And if it's a critical, deal damage equal to double that stat. Apply before any other modifications. And he will not flip. Since that map card did have a merchant icon, I will go ahead and buy the breadcrumbs. Each time a card is added to your tableau, +1 gold. I am now at 0. I have these choices of maps. This is easy, and I don't have yellow dice. I draw the Unexpected Aid. At the start of the engagement, add this card to the non-boss enemy with the lowest attacks. All other non-boss enemies have their health reduced by that enemy's attack. The Disorienting Fog. It's an ambush. Add the next card in the forest deck to your tableau. This does not take the place of this round's forest phase. So, the next card has to be added, but I still have to choose to add this or another one. And that is the Bespectacled Oak. And I will add this to complete the forest phase. And since 2 Fable cards were activated, I will gain 4 gold. Up to 4. And 1 gold for each card added to my tableau because of breadcrumbs. So that takes me to 7. I'm going to commit only 3 dice. 2, 3, and that counts as 2 because of the Beast. My lowest stat is 2. I have 1 more strategy, so I'll commit 2 more dice. That will be enough to defeat him. Exhaust, then recover. Gain 6 gold, up to 13. And because that map had a merchant icon, we get to go shopping again. This time, I'm going to bait Mama Bear into the forest deck for 5 gold, and I'm going to forge for 4 gold to make Root Bomb. a root ombob. So this time I get to roll 2 yellow dice without exhausting them. And if I roll a crit, then I get to defeat 1 non-boss enemy. 9 gold will take me down to 4. Here are my 2 map cards for this phase, and I think this makes the most sense. I get Wrath of the Leprechaun. Okay, I had to laugh at this one. Tina Fey. And Fetid Cheese Guy. Before each roll dice step, you must exhaust 1 ready yellow, which I don't have any. If none can be exhausted, you cannot roll. I gain 1 gold for each card from Breadcrumbs, and 2 gold from Brothers Grimm for the Fable card. I go up to 9. Then it's the bribery phase, and I'm going to bribe the Fetid Cheese Guys. Otherwise, I cannot roll. So 6 goes down to 3. And he will get removed and flipped, but no rewards. And only 2 dice need to be committed. That will defeat her since the prince makes that 2. For the after effect, you may upgrade 1 item in your inventory. Breadcrumbs becomes Magic Loaf. This time plus 2 gold for every card in your tableau. And gain gold equal to the highest health, which is 3. That brings me up to 6. I'll exhaust these 2 and recover 5. And I gain 1 random item. However, I am already at my max of 2, and I'm going to keep those instead of this. For Brothers Grimm, they are going to publish their work by paying 5 gold and reverting to the original hero. He comes down to 1, and we've got our mischievous fairy back. These are the 2 map cards I have, and this one will play nicely. Gnome Alone. I have to add him to the tableau. Enemy Clearing. Either add the top enemy card from the discard to your tableau, which is what I will do. There we go. And 2 gold for each card. So 1 to 7. So my root ombob allows me to roll 2 dice. And I got a critical. And I do not have to exhaust them. So I will defeat the Gnome Alone and gain 2 gold. And the fairy dust says every time a yellow is a critical, I can increase 1 stat. And I'm only going to have to roll the red dice, because the prince will double my lowest stat of 3, so that's 6 damage. Exhaust, then recover, gain 3 gold, up to 12. Now with a strategy of 3, I have to pick one of these maps. This one is going to be hard, but I know that Mama Bear's on the top. Lose half of your gold rounded up, from 12 to 6. Exhaust 1 die. Let's do green. Wereduck. In Motion Tincture, either swap the values of any 2 of your stats, or swap your 3 strongest ready dice with your 3 weakest exhausted dice. This will go to 3, and this will go to 5. I'm getting lucky with all the wilds here. These 2 cards, I will choose Assistance, minus 3 gold, then flip Assistance to nighttime and discard it. 5 cards have been added, which is 10 golds from my Magic Loaf, and minus 3 from Assistance. I'll just add 7, making it 13. At the start of the engagement, add a number of enemies from the top of the discard pile to your tableau equal to your health, which is 5, minus your hero's starting health, which is 1. So 4 more enemies. And here is our nightmare. I forgot the bribery phase, and I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to spend 5 to bribe the Wren. And I would have known that before the Mama Bear took actions that 4 new characters were going to join. Using my root ombob, I need a critical. Oh, doubles! Okay, so only 1 takes effect to immediately defeat 1 non-boss enemy, and the ombob will defeat Gnome Alone. Technically, he is turned sideways, and I rolled 2 criticals, so I can increase my stats 1 each. 4, 4. The Fetid Cheese Guy will force me to exhaust 1 blue die. My only choice is to roll all the dice. So this critical is actually worth 8, because the beast will double my lowest stat, which is 4. And thankfully that's enough to defeat Mama Bear. And with only 8 hits, I can only defeat Angry Roots. I'm going to complete my rolls and suffer. The Wereduck allows me to suffer strategy or recovery. I will choose strategy. Tina Fey and Fetid Cheese Guy will deal an additional 2 damage, taking me down to 3 health. The after effect of Unshod Centaur, if he's not defeated, I will lose 1 health, but during the cleanup, he will come back to fight me in the next round. Now I'm down to 2. If I need to, I can remove him instead of taking a damage. I'm going to exhaust all these dice, and I can recover 4. I gain 1 random item, and he's going to be removed from the game. I pick up another root bomb, and I can hold 3 items now, and then gain 7 gold. 7 gold, that takes me to 15. Each time a card is added to your tableau, plus 2 gold. Mama Bear added 4 enemies to my tableau, so I should have 8 more gold, but I max out at 20, so I will have 20 going into this merchant step. These are the last 3 items in the deck, but I'm going to spend all of them to mend, and recover 10 dice for 20 gold. And I will bring back these. Here are my map choices. Ignoring ambush effects is very important. The Unshod Centaur remains from the previous forest phase. I drew these 3 cards, and even though I don't have to do an ambush effect, I think adding the Thunderdome makes the most sense, as that will fill one of the map conditions. And the last forest card will be the Undiscovered Plum Tree, and I can ignore the ambush effect. My Magic Loaf gives me 2 gold per card, so I am up to 6. My Root Ombob allows me to roll 2 yellows. That's perfect. So I get to immediately defeat 1 enemy. And for my basic Root Bomb, I get to roll 1 yellow. Wow, that will defeat him without having to apply any dice. And I get to recover these. And Fairy Dust will allow me to increase a stat each time I roll a critical on yellow. Let's get this to 4. I gain 7 more, up to 13. Here are the 3 map cards I can choose from. I'm going to choose this, which is dangerous, but I need to visit the merchant. I draw a Wither. I have a Wild Toad Warrior. Papa Bear. Set aside all exhausted dice, which I have none. Exhaust the same number of ready dice. Then add the set aside dice. So that doesn't affect us. Great timing. Gnome on the range. I ran out of forest deck cards, so I reshuffle, keeping all the faces the same direction. I have these 2 choices. I will pick Search for Goldilocks, and when I add to the tableau, all daytime enemies are flipped. And I get to +1 to any stat. I have an angry cohort of enemies, so I can increase my stats 3 times. 5, 4, and 5. Add a Thunderdome to your tableau. I've drawn up to 4 cards, and I'm going to pick Tina Fey, and that does satisfy the map conditions. I gain 2 gold for each card in my tableau, but I will max out at 20. It's the bribery phase, and I'm going to bribe the 2 gnomes. That's 14 gold. 14 gold gives me to 6. No rewards. Now I get to use my Root Ombob. No success. And my Root Bomb. No success. I'm going to use these dice for the commit. 7 will defeat the bear. This is 4 because of the prince. This is only 1 because criticals deal 1 fewer for each bear that has been defeated this game. I've only defeated Mama Bear. And 6, 7. I have a strategy of 4, so I will commit more dice and re-roll all the unapplied. I will apply it to the Toad Warrior. He is dead. And I will suffer 1 hit from Wither and Tina Fey. The map after effect is +1 to any 2 different stats. So recover and health. I exhaust these dice, and I can recover 6. I do gain 5 gold, which takes me to 11. I get to visit the merchant. I will bait Baby Bear into the forest deck, and I will buy a warm porridge as my 4th item. I'm now at 0. I have 4 options for the map phase, except no, it has to be this. I've drawn these forest cards, and this mandatory is if there's already an enemy. This one says -1 stat or add Leprechaun Man to your tableau. I'm going to minus a stat and use this one for this phase. I'll bring this down to 5. Here's what I drew. We've reached the ambush. Add Angry Roots. Here's the next cards I've drawn. Either flip Wrath of Leprechaun to daytime and add it to your tableau, or discard cards from the forest deck. That's what I'll do, until 2 non-boss enemies have been discarded, and add those 2 enemies to your tableau. We add Fury Toad and Fetid Cheese, so this says either set your gold to 0 or flip your hero. Because I get 2 gold for each card from Magic Loaf, I'm going to set my gold to 0 and not flip. So I still have those 2 earlier cards, but I have since drawn 2 more. 4 is my max, and we've got another ambush. This says add the next card in the forest deck to your tableau. It does not take place. It does not replace one of these cards I need to play. So I've gained an adventurer, and I'm going to play this one. So, ambush. Either exhaust 1 die for each card in your tableau or roll your health die, with the rolled result becoming your new stat. It was a 4. Now we're at 3. And we have met our map condition. I exhaust 1 yellow because of Fetid Cheese. I have my Root Ombob. Fail. And my Root Bomb. Fail. I'll be committing 6 dice. Because of Bonfire, every enemy's health is reduced by 1. Because of Prince, this is equal to my lowest stat of 3, 5, 6, defeated. Fury Toad only has 1 health, defeated. Fetid only has 2 health, defeated. The only after effect is Wrath of Leprechaun. Gain 2 gold for each defeated enemy. So that's 6. 6 from the magic loaf. That will bring me to 12 gold. Plus the rewards here, I'm at max 20. I will discard. I'll recover these 6. So each time I gain gold, I gain 1 fewer gold. So I actually should have 15 gold. And actually my recovery is 5. So that was a merchant location. I'm not going to buy anything, but I will mend 5 times for a total of 10 gold. That takes me down to 5. Then I'm going to forge an item to its upgraded side. My root bomb now becomes my second root ombob. I recover 5. These are my choices of maps this turn. Let's do that one. These are the first choices of the forest deck. I'm going to pick Forest Dragon. This is what I drew before an ambush. Immediately draw 4 forest cards for each enemy drawn. Either add the enemy to your tableau or -1 to any stat. These were 3 of the 4 cards I drew. I'm going to choose to discard all of them and take a 3 stat hit. 2 and 3. And I finally drew this, Unexpected Aid. I'm going to lose 1 health at the start of the engagement. I'm not going to bribe. Then add this card to the non-boss enemy with the lowest attack. All other non-boss enemies have their health reduced by that enemies. Well, there's only the Forest Dragon. And the map conditions are met, and this is the final showdown with the last bear. My root ombob. I get a critical, which free defeat of the Forest Dragon. I need 5 hits for victory, and that will do it because the prince makes this 3. And that does it for Tanglewoods Gold. In my opinion, I had more fun with this one than the red deck. Having this card was extremely overpowered. By getting that beast card, normally he would flip when he has more than 3 health, but he never flips. And so that made this a little too easy. I like how the stats here were more fluid than the red deck. It was hard and not as often. Here, they're changing up and down, and it changes gameplay quite a lot. Having to meet the map conditions could create a large tableau, or you could be lucky and have a few tableaux. Overall, I had a great time, and I can't wait to play the white deck next. So, I'm Gambit. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video where I play quick.